I want to switch gears back to what originally brought us into Mr. Hammy's, your interaction with Mr. Hammy. Do you recall the date in which Mr. Hammy came into the office to discuss removal from the list?
Yes, it was about April 28th of 2023.
Okay, April 28th of 2023. And so does that mean that he was on the disassociated list before that? He was still on the disassociated list before April 28th of 2023?
Yeah.
So he would have been on the disassociated persons list on April 26th of 2023?
Yeah.
Okay. The people have no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay.
I agree with the judge.
Afternoon,
Ms. Johnson.
Good afternoon.
Ms. Johnson, so you're working for the Michigan Gaming Control Board, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, you're overseeing the self-exclusions, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, what's your position?
I am a manager.
You're a manager, okay. Now, self-exclusions are voluntary, is that correct?
That is correct.
That's something the individual applies for.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So are you familiar with instances where an individual will exclude themselves for a period of time and they think enough time has passed and they want to remove themselves from that list?
Will you repeat that again?
Are you familiar with situations where a person excludes themselves for a period of time and after enough time passes in that person's mind, they want to remove themselves from the disassociated persons list?
Yes.
You are familiar with situations like that?
Yes.
You are, okay. And then there are various ways which an individual can remove themselves from the disassociated list. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, they can do it online. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And they can mail an application in.
Yeah.
Come in person. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And they can also do it casino. Is that right?
Say that question again.
They can also fill out the application at the casinos. Is that correct?
They can fill the application out at the casino, but they would have to still get it to our office.
All right, no, bro.
Okay, Andy, redirect.
Briefly, just one question.
Okay.
If the Michigan Gaming Control Board had not received an application, even if someone filled it out in any of the ways that defense counsel just questioned you about, but you all never received it, would they still be considered on the disassociated persons list?
Yes.
One more, I'm sorry. And whose responsibility is it to ensure that, is it the responsibility of the person on the dissociated persons list to ensure that they are off the list before entering a casino?
Judge, be on the scope.
Okay.
No further
Gotta
questions.
make sure you stand up. I have a question for you. I have a question. I apologize. Did you have any recall?
No, no recross, Judge.
Okay. I have a question for you. On direct, you testified that, I'm rephrasing, it's not verbatim, that a person that has been removed from the disassociated persons list can still be excluded from the casino. Do you recall that testimony?
Yes.
My question is, under what authority?
Under the terms and conditions of the Michigan Gaming Control and Revenue Act, when individuals place themselves on the list of disassociated persons, they are on that list, the disassociated persons list.
Right.
That information is then disseminated to the casino, but it is up to the casinos whether or not they reinstate their gaming privileges, because there could have been a situation where the individual was self-excluded from the casino and the Gaming Control Board would not have that information. So if they were self-excluded by the casino, at that particular point, they would need to be reaching out to the casino to find out if there are any exclusions on them other than being placed on the list of disassociated persons. Okay. So there may be an involuntary.
So when you say they could be excluded, you're saying they could be excluded for a reason other than that they were on the disassociated persons list.
Yes, that is correct.
But if a person has only been prohibited from entering the casino because of their self-exclusion on the disassociated persons list, putting themselves on the disassociated persons list, and then their name is no longer on the list. Oh, no, that's not good. I'm not asking the question the way. If the only reason for my exclusion is that I'm on the disassociated persons list, once my name is lifted off of that list, are my rights to enter the casino automatically restored, or is there something else I have to do to enter a casino? If you know. Do you understand my question? So hypothetical, I'm not entering the casino only because I put my name on the dissociated persons list. The casino never kicked me out. The casino never banned me, but I put myself on the list because I said, I'm here to lose my house. So let me put myself on here. All right. So now I'm on here. Now the law changes. Now I get off the disassociated list. I'm not on anybody's list. Are you aware of if I have to do anything additional to enter into any of the 3 casinos?
The letter that individuals receive when they are placed back on the list of disassociated persons indicates that they have been removed from the disassociated persons list. And it is up to that individual to reach out to the casinos to see if their privileges have been reinstated at the casino.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions based on my question?
I just have one.
Yes, ma'am.
Is the case, that brings us here today, is this a case where, Mr. Hammy was removed from the list from the Michigan Gaming Control Board and entered, the casino after that based off the casino's, policies?
Object to the scope.
Yeah, I don't think that lines up with my question. I didn't ask specifically about this case.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify with her that this wasn't my case.
Yeah, I didn't.
Okay,
I don't care.
Okay, I just wanted.
I shouldn't say I don't care. What I mean is, I wanted to know the general thing. I'm sure, hopefully I'll know the specific, but
Understood, Your Honor, I just want to clarify for the court that that wasn't the situation here.
okay, any questions based on my question?
No, Judge.
All right, thank you, ma'am. You may step down, and if you choose, you are free to remain in the courtroom. I believe, is anyone planning to recall this witness?
No.
No.
All right, if you choose, you're free to stay in the courtroom, okay?
Thank you.
All right. The people may call their next witness.
The people call James Howard to stand.
And, officer, when you go out, you get the witness, let Ms. Stevenson know. Oh, she right here. Don't worry. She can hear me. Ms. Stevenson, okay. I was gonna say, I didn't even see you on there. Are you ready?
Ready, Your Honor, and if Ms. McQueen could go first, I would really appreciate that, if it's possible.
Here go to old Miss Stevenson. Here go to old Miss Stevenson. Okay, where my phone?
And Judge, I'm sorry that I didn't have them ready. I really do apologize for that.
Yes, I'm ready for the witness. Go ahead. I'm multitasking. Bring out Miss McQueen. I don't see any photos. All right, this is case number 145240001, the people versus Lisa Monique McQueen. Defendant is charged with operating while intoxicated. Today is the day set for review. Appearances, please.
Janice Stevenson, appearing on behalf of Ms. Lisa McQueen. Ms. McQueen, ma'am, please say your name.
Lisa Monique McQueen.
All right, Ms. Stevenson, I'm a bit frazzled, just a bit. And I don't see Ms. McQueen's folder. Tell me what they said about her.
That Ms. McQueen still owes $830, Your Honor. The court did give her an opportunity to pay or complete community service.
And
Neither of those have been done. She still owes the money and has not done the community service, is their report, Your Honor.
oh, Ms. McQueen, now that's not, what are we doing about that? What's that about, Ms. Dixon?
So, Your Honor, Ms. McQueen has a 1-year-old child. That baby was born right around the time that this case started. She has not been able to get childcare. She would not be able to get childcare until she starts working. Fortunately, very recently, Ms. McQueen got a job where she's working from home, and now she
I'm gonna
can pay.
interrupt your lawyer. I wanna ask a question. And my question is, who's gonna watch the baby while you're in jail? Who's gonna watch the baby?
He probably would have to go with my sister, but
Well,
I
then
live,
you're gonna watch that baby while you go do some community
I
service or
live
something.
they live in Michigan, all my family.
We live in Michigan too.
I live in
The
Las
court's given her
Vegas.
permission to live in Las Vegas, Your Honor.
Oh, she might have to come back. Because here's the thing about it. Every time I give permission to live somewhere else, I always say, as long as it does not interfere with your ability to do this case. So the fact that she lives in Las Vegas is her business. That's where she went, away from her family, for whatever reason. How long has she been on probation?
I think we're at the 1-year point, Your Honor. Double check. Oh,
Okay, you can mess around and go to jail and have to bring the baby to Michigan anyway. But when you go to jail and your sister and the people have to, watch the child. Now, I've given options. I said you could do community service or pay. Don't show up for court and you haven't done either. Don't do that. Don't do that. So it's either or, and then understand that probation is the alternative to jail, and jail is the alternative to probation. I've given you the alternative. Man, I don't want to put anybody in jail. I wouldn't want to spend a second at the Wayne County Jail. I wouldn't want to spend a second there. So you're gonna have to do better. I'll extend the probation for 6 months. Don't come back in the exact same situation. Don't come back 0 for 0. Don't do that. Don't do that. Let's get something done. Let's get a babysitter. Let's befriend a good neighbor. Let's find some community service where we can take the baby with us, stuff some envelopes at the church. I mean, come on now. Let's not act like that. Y'all bring the babies to court. Certainly you take the baby to community service. Mr. Flanagan, what's the 6-month date?
July 11th.
July 11th, is that, I wanna do about 1:30,
Okay.
because she in Vegas and time here, but she be a little bit more sleepy.
Have a 10 a.m. that day.
What day of the week is that?
It's on a Thursday and it's a block off. Probably a Tigers game in the afternoon.
I heard of them blocking off the docket for virtual hearings, because it's a time. It doesn't even make sense. Okay, I'm sorry. Just, fine, 10, 13. Just put her on at 11.
Okay.
All right, July 11th at 11.
thank
Do
you
we have
very,
time?
very much. I'm
You're
sorry.
welcome. No, you're very welcome. I was moving quickly with my multitasking.
Excuse
You
me,
all
Your-
set? Yes,
Is that 11:30 there?
of course, ma'am. I'm not going by Vegas time. I live in Detroit. I'm in Detroit, Michigan. It's Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
All right. Have a great day and stay safe.
Take care, Miss McQueen. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Welcome. You're welcome. Is anybody getting off probation this season?
Not today, Your Honor.
Well, then you gotta hold tight. Let them give
Okay.
you another. Okay. All right, give me your name to score. My board is going to call you, right? I wish you wouldn't have that ass like this. Cases in the middle of trial. Sir, step this way, raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? What's your name?
James Hall.
James
James Haller.
Haller. Mr. Haller, you've been waiting, I think, in the hall,
Right.
to be called as a witness, correct?
Yes.
While you were waiting in the hall, did you, log into the live stream and you see any portion of the trial? Why is counsel over there talking about? You getting a new lawyer in trouble? Okay. Did you log in and view any portion of this trial? Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, based off of conversations with the defense counsel, they would be willing to stipulate the admission of the exhibit that we were planning to use for the witness. So defense counsel would be willing to admit to the admission of people's proposed exhibit 2.
To the exclusion of having to call a witness?
Yes.
Yes, I'll stipulate to.
The shortest testimony in the history. All right, then the court will receive, what exhibits are they?
I just have 2 copies of people's exhibit 2.
All right, people's exhibit 2.
May I approach with the exhibit submitted from the people for
You
you?
may. And then tell me what people's exhibit 2 is.
It is a surveillance photo of Mr. Hammy at the casino on April 26th.
You agree with that?
I do.
Okay. Ms. Stevenson, bring out somebody that's gonna be quick. Does that conclude the people's witnesses, or do people have one more witness?
One more.
Okay. One more, Your Honor. All right. Who is that in the office?
I don't know. Sure.
They're from this morning, they're not, their case isn't gonna be heard.
Well, I don't know if that's your case, but Judge Sharp heard that case, and it's a U-ticket case.
Is you ticket on my right?
Yeah, 2012.
Today is that's so sad that he's been sitting there all the time. That's not my case.
Yeah.
All documented. Who's the people's next witness?
The people's next witness is Sunshine Ponsetti.
Okay, and that's your OIC?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Okay.
All right, this is Hickman, case number 2244871. Ms. Stevenson, is this gonna be long? Am I gonna fuss?
No, I don't think so, Your Honor. We're asking it to continue as scheduled, not for an extension or anything.
Okay, 224487101. Mariko Montiel Hickman, defendant is charged with disorderly disturbance. Today is the day set for review. Ms. Stevenson.
Dennis Stevenson appearing on behalf of Mr. Mariko Hickman. Mr. Hickman, sir, please tell the judge your full name.
Mariko Montiel Hickman.
All right, today is the day set for review. Mr. Hickman was placed on probation for 12 months on July 10th. Ms. Stevenson, you were not being honest. You were not being honest, but okay. Mr. Hickman has done nothing. Mr. Hickman has done nothing. Mr. Hickman has done nothing, no thing, not a thing, nada. Okay, Mr. Hickman, I'm in the middle of a trial, and so that's gonna help you. But let me tell you something about this probation. Probation is the alternative to jail. Jail is the alternative to probation. I need you to move your probation higher up on your priority list. Stop putting us behind everything else you have to do. Now, you only had 6 weeks of anger management. It's been 6 months, you've done none. So, I'm gonna continue you to the final review. There's no penalty because I put you on probation for 12 months. I'll continue you to the final review, but you can't show up in 6 more months telling me that you're struggling financially.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Flanagan, is he already on the docket?
No.
So he's gonna come July 11th as well, that same day, at 10 a.m. All right,
Okay.
let's get it done. Let's get it done, Ms. Steven, okay?
Okay.
I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you, because I sure don't wanna have to put you in jail, but I will. That wouldn't even be nice, would it?
No,
I know, it ain't, I know. All right, talk to the legislature. I'll see you in July. Have a great day. Stay safe.
you too.
All
Thank
right.
you.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Mr. Hickman.
All right, give your name to the court reporter. How many, who else do I have left?
You have Levante Williams left.
He's not correct?
No, not yet.
Okay, bring that other person in, Ms. Easton, they're in the wrong place, somebody put them on my docket, by mistake. Mr. Flanagan is gonna call, I think they're supposed to be with Judge Sharp, that's on my docket by mistake.
Okay.
So bring them in and tell them. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you may be seated. I don't remember the lady's name that took, Mr. Hayden's place. All right, counsel, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Before I begin with questioning, I also would like to make note for the record that I've spoken to defense counsel. We have stipulated to the admission of People's Exhibit 3.
Okay, Mr.
That's correct, it's stipulated.
Okay, then people's proposal exhibit 3 is admitted. What is exhibit 3?
People's Exhibit 3, Your Honor, is a copy of Mr. Hammy's license.
All right, you may proceed.
Thank you.
That doesn't prevent this witness, she still has to testify.
She does still testify.
All right, we're all set, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon. And could you state your name for the record, please?
Yes, it's Sunshine, Sunshine, Ponzetti, Ponzetti.
And Ms. Ponzetti, what do you do?
I'm a detective sergeant with the Michigan State Police.
And what section of the Michigan State Police?
I work for the gaming section,
How long have you been with the gaming section?
July of 22.
And since you've been in the gaming section, were you working on April 26, 2023?
Yes,
What shift were you working that day?
that day I was assigned to 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We worked 12s.
Okay. And what casino were you at?
MGM.
Did something happen on that day that sticks out to you?
We got notified by security of a disassociated person on property.
Okay, and then what do you do once you get that call?
We respond to the area that security has the person, wherever they're located within the casino.
Okay, so on April 26th, you received a call regarding disassociated persons.
Yes, ma'am.
What part of the casino was that in?
I responded to the floor, the gaming floor, to a machine.
Okay, and then once you arrived at the machine, what happened?
I made contact with security and they identified the disassociated person,
And who was the disassociated person?
Mr. Hammy.
Would you, actually, strike that, I'm so sorry. So after you arrived at the machine, you identified Mr. Hammy, what did you do?
I had a conversation with him.
And what did you discuss?
So when we respond to the floor, we'll make contact with the individual, identify ourselves, identify them, confirm that they're on the disassociated persons list. And then have a conversation with them about what they were doing at the casino and on the gaming floor.
How do you make the confirmation that the individual is on the disassociated persons list?
Two ways, because representative from MGCB responds as well. There's a database that we search called CM9, and that's where the applications are held for all the disassociated persons. So we confirm that the application is there and valid, and then we know it's an actual disassociated person.
And in this case, did you do that verification?
One of the troopers did that, and then I was shown it on the gaming floor by a partner. So I viewed it, and I was also shown it by MGCB.
And just for clarification for the record, MGCB is what?
Michigan Gaming Control Board.
So on this date, you arrived at the machine. How did you identify the individual as Mr. Hammy?
By his Michigan driver's license.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
You may.
Thank you. I'm showing opposing counsel what's been stipulated to as People's Exhibit 3.
Thank you. Yes,
And what, is that the ID that you had saw on April 26th?
yes, I didn't see a photocopy of it, obviously, but I saw the actual driver's license.
And are you able to identify, is Mr. Hammy here in the courtroom with us today?
Yes,
Could you identify a piece of clothing that he's wearing?
yes. White shirt, sweater vest, gray slacks, black shoes.
Let the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant in this case.
Record reflects the identification of, Alan.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, once you were speaking with the defendant, Ms. Plenzetti, what happened?
So we'll do an interview. We'll talk to them, see, what their statements are. It's a non-custodial, interaction, so I advised Mr. Hammy that he wasn't under arrest, he wasn't in custody. I showed him my credentials, I worked for the Michigan State Police, and, asked him if he knew he was on the disassociated persons list.
And was there a response to that question?
Yes,
What was the response?
yes,
That he didn't know he was on the associated person?
yes. Now, there's additional comment on that question, because he believed that he had been removed at some point, but not in Michigan.
Was there any specification why he thought that he was on the list?
He was in Vegas gambling and signed documents and paperwork, in Las Vegas.
Okay. However, that day when you were shown, he was still in the system registering as a dissociated person?
Yes, that's why I clarified if there was anything in Michigan.
And after he had stated that he thought he was removed in Vegas, what happened next?
Mr. Hammy was agitated. He had won a jackpot over $6,000 and showed me like 2 winning statements where he had been given money while being at the casino, and was agitated. We had conversation about that as well.
And was there anything that was important in that conversation that stuck out to you in any way?
No objection from the question.
Oh,
Okay.
so after you were speaking
Hold
with
on,
Ms.
excuse me. Tell her I do not do utilities. It's not state. I do utilities. I don't do utilities. So she needs to talk to Ms. Crosby. I only do state this. I don't tell her I don't do utilities. U-tickets are not on my docket. I don't do U-tickets. U-tickets go to the traffic ordinance now. So she needs to call Ms. Crosby.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Mendez, I'd like to take a step back for a moment. You had stated that the defendant had informed you that he was off the list in Vegas.
Correct. Yeah. Yes.
Were you given any paperwork demonstrating that?
No.
To date, have you seen any information that would have indicated that was correct?
No.
So after you were speaking with Mr. Hammy, and you informed him that he was not on the list, or he was on the list, what happened next?
He was producing those documents saying he had received payouts or had received money or had been in the casino, and was saying because he had been in the casino, then he could be in the casino. So we had a lot of conversation that in Michigan and in the Detroit casinos, he was on the disassociated persons list. And he hadn't removed himself from the list.
And would you have any knowledge as to if and or how Mr. Hammy was paid out the 2 checks that he was speaking of?
I just saw the, I forget what the name of the form is, but it's like a W something, it's like a payout form that he was holding in his hands. I took pictures of them. I could probably look through my report and see what the form's called, but I don't remember. I didn't see cash or money.
Okay, but you don't deal personally with the payouts that are done by the casino?
No, if a disassociated person does get paid out, that money gets seized and turned over to MGCB, Michigan Gaming Control Board, and we never take possession of that. The casino writes a check and MGCB takes that. The Michigan State Police does not.
Was that the process that was followed with the jackpot that was won in this case?
It was.
So after the checks were being produced, all of those things, what happened next?
Mr. Hanley was very agitated because he didn't want to leave the casino with his money. My other two partners had arrived, two other detective troopers, and we, escorted Mr. Hammy off the premise because he's a disassociated person and unable to remain.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Cross examine.
Any questions, please, witness?
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Any further witness on behalf of, I don't even know what to tell Ms. Gleason about this matter. Call this one.
They said they were gonna call it. I'll call it.
All right, well, okay.
The people are asked, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Davis,
Yes, I'll call Mr. Henry to testify.
okay, Mr. Hammy, state your name for me.
Alan Hemming.
Hammy, you keep saying it wrong all the time. And sir, your lawyer just said, defense will call Mr. Hammy to testify. Do you understand that you have an absolute and complete right to remain silent?
Yes.
And do you, understand that, well, strike that, with respect to your right to remain silent, have you decided to testify in this case?
Yes.
Okay, and then my next question, especially since you keep looking at Mr. Davis, is, do you understand that, the decision to testify is yours and yours alone, and that, in consultation with your lawyer, it must be your individual decision to testify? You understand that?
Yes.
And you spoke to Mr. Davis,
Yes.
and based upon, whatever your conversation was, with Mr. Davis, you have decided to give up your right to remain silent and testify.
Yes.
Has anyone threatened you in any way or promised you anything that was not placed on the record to get you to testify?
No.
All right, thank you, sir. You may come around. What they started, they didn't change the documents.
So Dr. Instrument just called back. But I think we should take it back down. All I have is.
Yeah, 'cause that's not I don't get them files. That's some traffic stuff.
Yeah, first. She's gonna call back this wrong.
Okay, step this way. That's them folder. Let me see the file.
That's a track.
Yeah, this is traffic folder. This ain't. Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you may be seated.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I meant to, hold on, I'm sorry. Is this Lisa? No, oh, yeah, she is. Okay, give me 1 second. Ms. Stevenson, let's do, we're still working on the youth. Oh, there goes Mr. Williams. Let's do Mr. Williams. I don't know who this other person is, I'm not gonna bring him in. And I'm gonna just cut to the chase with Mr. Williams. Okay, this is case number 224413301, the people versus Levante Allen Williams. Defendant is charged with operating while intoxicated. Today is the date set for review. Appearances, please.
Janice Stevenson, appearing on behalf of Levante Williams. Mr. Williams, sir, please say your full name.
Levante Williams.
Thank you. I must have taken those photos. Hold on, my daughter's calling to check on me. All right, Ms. McCall says that Mr. Williams was placed on probation for 15 months. And 12 months would have been October 2023. So he's at the 15-month mark. He has completed several things, but he still has a traffic balance. And I don't know, I hate when they write this, but apparently is this balance on this case $940?
Yes.
All right, so he owes $940. He has a new ticket with Judge Taylor, and he needs to give us proof of his education and submit to the substance abuse evaluation, Ms. Gibson.
Believes he did already, but he'll confirm that with Ms. McCall. Mr. Williams just started working at McDonald's in Redford and is asking for 120 days to pay the balance, Your Honor.
All right. I don't know why you had to say it like that. Why you just didn't say months? Like how many
Well, because
months?
that's the way he said it, so that would be 4 months to me. He's very fancy like that. That's what he said.
It's fancy, so that's about 4 or 5 months, 6 months. I don't know. You know, I can't do math like that.
4
4
months,
months.
Judge.
Cause he only has, well, 15. Okay, let's give him 4 months. So this is January, May. Give him a date in May, let's see.
May 13th.
I think I must, let me make sure I'm not out of town. May 13th is good. All right. May 13th, 10 o'clock, we're all set.
Thank you. Take care, Mr. Williams.
Have a great day, stay safe. Are you trying to say? Oh, no, okay. All right, Mr. Houston, we're all set until I tell you where that other person is gonna go.
Okay, Judge.
Okay. All right, thank you all for indulging those interruptions. Mr. Davis, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Will you please state your name for the record?
Alan Hammy,
Mr. Henry, how old are you?
48.
Where you currently live in Michigan?
Yes,
Did you live in Michigan back in 2014?
yes,
Now, you originally removed yourself, again, a disassociated person from casinos back in 2014, is that correct?
yes,
And you did so voluntarily, is that
yes,
correct? A decision that you made on your own, is that right?
yes.
You filled out the application,
Mhm.
is that yes?
Yes,
You turned that application in,
yes.
and at a certain point, did you feel that enough time had passed that you could start back going to casinos?
Objection, Judge, leaving.
It is kind of leading, Mr. Davis, this is your witness.
At any point, did you want to remove yourself from that list?
Say it again.
At any point, did you decide to remove yourself from the list?
Yes,
And when was that?
when I was in Vegas,
And you recall what year that was?
2021.
In 2021, you decided that you wanted to remove yourself from the disassociated persons list, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. What action did you take in order to remove yourself?
To be honest with you, I was planning to go to a different casino, and we were watching a game at MGM. So one of the hosts there, she told me, if you have been over 5 years on the de-associated list, you can fill out this form, and immediately we can give you the MGM card, and you can use the MGM card in Vegas and in Detroit. So I filled out the application. After like 3-4 hours or 2 hours, she said, okay, you're all set, and she gave me the MGM card. We stayed there for 5 days, and I came back, and I used, go ahead.
Our permission to approach Judge, proposed exhibit. I'm going to direct your attention to what's marked as defense proposed exhibit A.
Mhm.
Do you recognize that those set of documents?
Yes,
You do, okay. The first page, what is that?
The MGM card,
That's a picture of the card.
yes.
You recall when it was taken?
November, I think when I was in Vegas.
Okay. Who took the photo?
November, I took the photo,
What day was that?
November 21st, 2021.
Okay, what's the second page?
Second page, my driver's license.
And the third page?
Is the application I filled out.
Okay, what's the application? What is the application for?
Back then, I didn't know that much about it, and when I filled out the application, I gave it to her. One of the representatives there for MGM, she took the application from me, and she told me you're all set.
Okay. That's the application to remove yourself as a disassociated person? That's
Yes,
what you filled out?
yes,
Okay. And that's a true and accurate photograph of.
yes,
Let me finish. That's a true and accurate photograph of both of the MGM card and your application and your
Yes.
ID.
yes,
And those photos were taken on November 21st, 2021.
yes.
I'll move to the minute.
No objection. All right, now you did mark that as defendant's exhibit A. A, yes, okay.
Yes. Yes.
Defendant's exhibit A is admitted.
Okay, so you were given a player's card in
Yeah.
MGM, is that correct?
Yes,
Now, after. So,
Just a second. Okay, you make the decision.
right,
Try to put a message in the chat with Judge Holmes' phone number, say, tell them to call Judge Holmes. Okay.
At some point, did you leave Vegas?
yes.
Okay. How long did you stay in Vegas?
I stayed in Vegas for 4 or 5 days.
After those 4 or 5 days, did you return back to Michigan?
I returned back to Michigan.
Okay. Took your player's card with you?
Yes, I got that because she told me it has like a Detroit address on the back of it and you can use it everywhere. And I tried it one of the parking lot to get in and it worked fine.
Okay. And at some point, did you go to MGM Grand Detroit?
After 3 months, but I learned not to go a lot every once in a while. I was there with my buddies in the afternoon and yes, I went there.
You did, okay, and you proceeded to gamble, is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Is it fair to say that you won sometimes?
Yes, I put the card and the card showed my name and everything. I won a jackpot for 1,700. I gave it to the girl. I told her, she said, oh, your name is not on the associated list, and she gave me my winnings.
Okay, that was in Detroit?
That was in Detroit.
Okay. I'm gonna show you what's marked as defense proposed exhibits A and C.
The second one was.
Oh, no, there's no question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you recognize defense exhibit B?
Yes,
Okay, what is that?
that's that 1099, they give it to you when you win money at the casino.
Okay, when was that given to you?
It is February is the date on it here. The date. It is 4/26/2023, the exhibit B.
April 26, 2023.
Yes.
And how much did you win?
Was 18. Okay. You asked me about, the one you asked me about is exhibit C. That was 2/15/2023, the first time I went there, which is February.
Wait, stop. So are you talking about exhibit B or exhibit C right now?
Exhibit C
Okay, you're talking about exhibit C.
Yeah.
What day was that issue?
was February 15/2023.
Okay, how much did you win that day?
It was 1779.
Okay. And going back to exhibit B,
Okay.
what day was that issue?
That's the same day, it's on April 26, 2023. That's the same day they told me, which is in the afternoon. I was there from 12, I was with my colleagues at work and.
So you were there earlier?
Yes.
The day you won some money?
Yes,
Okay, you received a payout?
Yes,
on the same day that we're here, that brings us here support. Is that
yes,
what you're saying?
yes,
Okay. So earlier in the day, you wanted something.
yes,
Now, are both of those true and accurate true and accurate copies of the 1099 that you received?
yes, yes.
Okay. I'm going to admit this exhibit's being seen.
Defendants exhibits, proposed exhibits B and C are admitted as, exhibits B.
You know, at some point on April 26th, you went back to the casino after you won some money. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was there same night, with all of us.
Okay, you won a $6,000
Yeah.
jackpot.
Yes,
How much was your jackpot?
was 6,700 some.
Okay. What were you playing?
I was in the high limit room,
Playing what?
slots.
After you won, what did you do?
I gave him my card and I was waiting for my winnings. And all of a sudden, after half an hour, 15 minutes, I think state police came, somebody from Michigan Gaming Control Board. And yeah, they told me on the associated list. I said, okay, this is the 1099. Today, the same day you gave me 1099. Why all of a sudden right now, you wanna, you don't wanna give me my money? I was like kind of shocked, so
So you were shocked.
yes.
You were shocked. Why were you shocked?
Because like a couple of times they gave me my winning, they didn't tell me anything. I used the card multiple times. Like to be honest with you, the process of removing myself, I didn't know that much. Then when they told me that this is the process, I said, yeah, no problem, I'll go. And I went, met with Mrs. Johnson, and I filed, and I was approved to be removed from the USCC list.
So to be clear, you're talking about after you won your jackpot, they told you were not, you
Yeah,
were still on the list.
Yeah.
You took additional steps.
Yes. yeah,
So up until that point, did you think you were removed?
yes, yeah, because if I'm not removed, why did they give me my winning? Usually, if you are not removed, they'll take the money and say, okay, this is not yours, you're on the associated list, and they'll take it.
Okay, you submitted the applications.
Yes.
Right, okay. Were you aware that the law changed in 2020 that allowed you to remove yourself?
Yes,
Okay, and that's why you went to remove yourself in
Yeah.
2021?
yes.
Okay.
You have to be, I think, 5 years off, like, so I'm not, the requirements, which is 5 years.
All right, another person.
Okay, cross-examination.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hammy.
Good afternoon.
Now, you chose to be on the disassociated persons list in 2014, correct?
Yes,
And when you applied, you signed that application,
yes,
it was notarized,
I believe so.
okay? And you went through that application and you read all of the points on there, right?
Yeah, first application?
Yes, in your original
Yes.
application.
Yes, yes,
So then you know that it's your responsibility to not enter casinos, correct?
yes,
And you know that it's your responsibility and no one else's to ensure that you don't violate being on the associated persons list, correct?
100%. Yes,
And you also know, because you read through that application, that it says on there that it applies to Michigan casinos, correct?
what do you mean, like? No,
The disassociated persons list applies to casinos in Michigan, correct?
No, if you are on the associate listed in MGM Casino, you are not allowed to enter MGM Casino games. Because one time, to be honest with you, I was at the Hollywood Casino in Ohio, okay? And I was going there because I'm allowed there. But when they changed the name, when Hollywood Casino purchased the Greektown Casino, they told me you're not allowed to come here anymore because right now we are same company. So if even before I went to Vegas, I called the MGM and I asked them, they said you are not allowed. But once I got there and they told me, oh, you are from Michigan, there is an application you can fill out and we can apply. I'm not sure why did they do that. So they told me, so yeah, but if you are on the associated list in Detroit, Also, you're not allowed in MGM Casino Vegas. You can call them and
Okay, so with MGM Casino Vegas, that's the policy, but in the application, it says that it only applies to Detroit casinos, and those casinos may enforce it in other jurisdictions, correct?
I didn't read it that detail.
Okay, if I were to show you the application, would it help refresh your memory?
Well, he stated that he didn't read it, he didn't say he had a problem with the memory.
Okay. But it was your responsibility to read that application, correct?
Yes.
It was your responsibility to know and understand the rights associated with that, correct, the responsibilities? Okay. Now, let's talk about the application that you say you filled out in Vegas.
Yes.
Now that application was never notarized, correct?
Yes. This, to be on, again, I think same thing happened when I filled out the second application when it was approved. She told me fill out this application, and the person who took the application from me notarized the application. So,
Sorry, I just want to bring you back to my question, but the one that you claim you filled out in Vegas was never notarized, correct? It's in front of you, I believe, Defense Exhibit A.
yes.
Okay, now, to be clear, you never received anything from Michigan Gaming Control Board prior to April 26, 2023, saying that you were off of the dissociated persons list, correct?
Yes.
You never received any notice at all saying that you were off of the list.
Yes.
Brief moment to confer your honor.
Right.
Now, to be clear, you never went into the Michigan Gaming Control Board to remove your office, to remove yourself from the list, or have any signed application to remove yourself from the dissociated persons list until April 28th, 2023, correct?
Yeah, assuming that it's my first application is good to go, and I have a casino card, and I have everything. That's why do I need to fill up two applications if the first application was approved and I was getting winnings and I'm okay. So that's why I didn't. So if you're, I'm a banker, if your application is approved the first time, why do you need?
Non-responsive.
So just bringing you back to my question, you never went to Michigan Gaming Control Board office or had a notarized application to remove yourself from the dissociated persons list prior to April 28th, correct?
Yes.
And you said that you were approved, but you just stated that you were approved and got the MLife card. But to be clear, the MLife card and the Michigan Gaming Control Board are two separate entities, correct? When you filled out your application with the Michigan Gaming Control Board, that was for all casinos in Detroit, not just MGM, correct?
Yes, and I was at MGM casino only. I didn't go to other casinos.
But to be clear, that Michigan Gaming Control Board, because you read that application, so you knew your rights and responsibilities, that you were not to go to any of the casinos, including MGM Casino, but also the other casinos, correct?
Yes.
And so while you may have received an MLife card in Vegas, you had never received any confirmation from the Michigan Gaming Control Board prior to April 26th of 2023 that you had been removed from the dissociated persons list, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. No further questions.
Yes. Mr. Haney, when you filled out the application to remove yourself from the disassociated persons list with your intent to remove yourself
Yes.
in Michigan, at all casinos?
Yes, 100%. And that's why I came to Detroit and I used it.
No, the application says that they will notify all three Detroit casinos that you have been removed. Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct. All right, Mr. President.
You didn't publish your exhibits.
Well, move to publish line sentence A through C.
Yes.
Any questions for Ms. Haney?
Thank you so much.
No, it's all right. Go ahead. Anything further on behalf of the defense?
No, nothing further, Judge, we rest.
Okay, any rebuttal on behalf of the people?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Then are we ready for closing argument?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything from the commission? No. Fine, okay, on behalf of the people?
May I proceed, Your Honor?
You may.
As you know, Your Honor, what brings us here today is the fact that the defendant, Mr. Hammy, was at the Detroit Casino, MGM Grand, on April 26, 2023. For today that on September 18th of 2024, Mr. Hammy voluntarily put himself on the dissociated persons list. We heard that he knew of those rights and responsibilities, which included not going to any of the 3 Detroit casinos. We heard that it was his responsibility and his alone to ensure that while he was on the list, he did not go. It's not the responsibility of anyone else to stop him, but of his to not go. But as we heard today, he violated that and chose to go on April 26th. We heard today from Sergeant Ponzetti that she made contact with him and that he himself told her that he knew he was on the dissociated persons list. And we also heard today from the defendant who says that he thought he had removed himself. But what we didn't hear is any communication from the Michigan Gaming Control Board to the defendant prior to April 26, 2023, notifying him that he had been removed off of the dissociated persons list. We heard that the application that was not notarized, that the defendant alleges removed him before that date. We did not hear that that was ever properly filed with the Michigan Gaming Control Board. We definitely didn't hear that he was actually removed from the list. In fact, what we did hear was quite the opposite. That he was on the list, the dissociated persons list on April 26, 2023. We heard that he still chose to enter the MGM Grand Casino. Now, that brings us to the charge that's here today. 1 count of gambling of a dissociated person trespassing. Now, we have to prove today beyond a reasonable doubt that an individual who had placed his or her name on the dissociated persons list created by the Michigan Gaming Control Board did enter the MGM Grand Casino contrary to MCL 432.225. Now, beyond a reasonable doubt, we have heard that in fact, the defendant was on the list and that he was at the casino at MGM Grand Casino on April 26, 2023. The people do not have to prove that the defendant had thought he removed himself, but all that matters, Your Honor, under the law, is that he was on the dissociated persons list and that he went to the casino. And beyond a reasonable doubt, we have seen today, both of those things are true. So as a result, the people ask that you find the defendant guilty of count 1, gambling of a dissociated person trespassing. Thank you.
On behalf of the defense.
Yes, Your Honor. The client is a professional. He's a banker. He will not intentionally violate any laws of the state. He voluntarily placed himself on the dissociated persons list back in 2011. Placed himself on the list because he had a gambling problem at the time. Now, time passed. He decided he wanted to remove himself from that dissociated persons list. The law changed in 2020. He took action the next year by filling out that application. He filled out the application, he turned it into the Las Vegas casino. On the application, it states it would apply to 3 Detroit casinos. He was given a player's card, was allowed to gamble in Vegas, returned to Michigan, entered Michigan casinos, he won money, lost money, gambled. He had no issue, had no indication, no notice that he was still on the disassociated persons list. Now, the legislator, they do not intend to criminalize a person in this situation. May have been a clerical error on the MGM staff's part, but my client filled out the application and intended to remove himself from that list. He was told he was removed from the list and he proceeded accordingly. It wasn't until he won a jackpot that they checked, or whatever database they checked, and they notified him that he was in fact still on the list.
Okay.
Just briefly, Your Honor. What's important for this case is, while the defendant claims that he wanted to remove himself, what's important here is that he didn't actually. It's the legislator's point. The legislator itself says that an individual who placed his or her name on the list of associated persons who enters a casino in this state is guilty of criminal trespassing, punishable by imprisonment for not more than 1 year, a fine of not more than $1,000 or both. The legislator's intent is very clear there. You're on the associated persons list. You enter a casino when you're on that list, then you're found. Then that is guilt for this crime. As a result, we ask that you find.
People have the burden to prove by beyond a reasonable doubt that on or about April the 26th, 2023, at or near 1777 3rd Street in the city of Detroit, County of Wayne, commonly known as the MIBryant Casino, that the defendant, Alan Haney, committed 1 count of gambling, disassociated person, trespassing by entering the casino while his name was on the disassociated persons list. And in order to meet its burden, the people submitted 3 witnesses, 2 witnesses, and 3 exhibits. 2 exhibits. You had 3? No, 2. What's the 3rd exhibit? Oh, man, you didn't publish that. I don't need it. That's fine. Thank you. Yes. Okay. And then the defense gave up his right to remain silent and testified, and defendant submitted 3 exhibits. So it seems like there's no dispute that Mr. Hammy was on the disassociated persons list, put himself on the list. It is a voluntary list. And the original application for that list, I was looking at also, it did indicate that the placement on the list was for life, and then I want to take credit for the law change, but it probably wasn't me, because it did change like within 6 months of me getting on this docket and continuously saying how ridiculous I thought it was that a person could put their name on the list and then I can never take my name on the list. Like I thought that was the craziest thing I had ever heard. And all of a sudden one day, I was informed that the law had changed. So I try to take credit, because I just felt like maybe they had been watching my live stream and they changed the law. But nonetheless, after a certain time, a person was able to take their name off of a list, they voluntarily put their name on. So I guess the sole question for me to determine is whether Mr. Hammy took his name off the list. There's no dispute that he went into the casino. There's no dispute that he won. I don't think there's a dispute. Well, the people didn't put on any rebuttal, I guess, that he won some money. I mean, these look like some originals, so we're gonna make sure that we get them back, but this looked like some originals of, a W-2 for some casino winnings, and the date of the casino winnings, it says date 1, April 26th, and then it says also February of 2023. So then the defense also submitted this M-Life card. I don't really necessarily know what that means. I guess that's like an MGM gambling card. And then an application request for removal. And at the top of it, it says, it has the same, initials, MGCB, for the Michigan Gaming Control Board. Here's wherein the problem lies. So I suppose, with respect to the defense's case in chief, so the people proved that Mr. Hammy was on the list, that he went into the casino, and that he in fact won money. Though the third one is not even a requirement, but that he was on the list, he went in the casino. The removal of the person's name from the list. So this is where a couple of things are lacking, and so sometimes I talk in order to process. So I actually don't think I've completely made up my mind yet. A couple of things haven't caught up to each other. So the law says a person is on the list and they go in a casino. I don't know what the law, if the law addresses what the change in the law saying a person can have their name removed from the casino, from the list. I heard testimony about what the process is. This is the process. They can fill out an application, they can fill it out online, they can fill it out at the Michigan Game Control Board, and they can fill it out at the casino. And then wherever they fill it out, it has to go to the Michigan Gaming Control Board. It appears that Mr. Hammy filled this application out in Las Vegas. Now, why Las Vegas is passing out applications to remove yourself from the Michigan list of disassociated persons? Well, I want to say it's beyond me, but it's clear to me that they would do that so they can get your money. So they want your money. They said, oh, you can fill out this paper and get your name off the list and gamble. Now, MGM is probably playing fast and loose because, number one, MGM Las Vegas didn't even have to honor the Michigan Gaming Control Board disassociated person. So they could have let him gamble whether his name was on the Michigan list or not. So I don't know why they dipped their nose in passing out papers from the Michigan Game Control Board. But the question becomes, if I fill out this application at a casino anywhere, and then they don't forward the application to the Michigan Gaming Control Board, then whose responsibility is that? Mr. Hammy did not put his name on the MGM Grand Casino disassociated people list. And therefore, once MGM Grand Casino say you can gamble, you can gamble. He put his name on the Michigan Gambling Control Board list of disassociated persons. So he goes into the Las Vegas casino. MGM has a policy. This is what I believe. MGM has a policy. If you're on the dissociated persons list, you can't gamble at any of our casinos. So then the people that's, want your money, then they say, you can get your name off that list now. And here go the application. And then they give them the application and then they fill it out. And they don't notarize it, but it's him. I mean, I don't know that that's the issue. Perhaps I would look deeper at that if the issue was, we got the application, but it wasn't notarized, so we didn't honor it, but we got it. Yeah, I might do something different with that. He filled this out, they took his driver's license, and they said, you good. But now, Mr. Hammy, did we really think we were good in Las Vegas? How can they tell Michigan what to do? Also, I suppose what's not clear to the court, and this is perhaps not, I might be going deeper than I need to here. If there's any opportunity for the gaming board to say, we're not taking you off the list. So let's say after 5 years, you can make application to get your name off the list. Is there any opportunity for them to say, no, you're not getting off the list because you've been in a casino before we took your name off the list? Because it's interesting to me, how can a person, I know my mind works a little stranger, how can a person fill out an application in a casino if I can't go in a casino? How can I go in the casino to fill out an application in a place I'm not supposed to be? I can't. There's only 2 ways that you can fill out that application. It's got to be online or at the Michigan Gaming Control Board. Or, I guess, at a casino outside of the state of Michigan. However, if I fill this out outside the state of Michigan, then I believe it is incumbent upon the person who filled it out outside the state of Michigan. When I get into the state of Michigan, I need to call the Gaming Control Board and say, hey, I filled out that application in Vegas. Did y'all get it? Because I'm about to go down here and gamble at this casino. Now, I don't know why they gave him this money right here. But the fact that the security feature failed. So a person is on the disassociated persons list. They go into a casino and they don't get removed, right? So whatever that face recognition stuff that I hate, you go in there and they just recognize you. Like you might be trying to sneak in there and they recognize you from your Facebook pictures and stuff. And they do face recognition. But they don't kick you out. Or the software fails and they can't pick it up. Or you go in there and you lose. And so they don't care. They let it pass. Or you go in there and you go eat. And you're not supposed to go in there, period, but you go in there and you go eat and they let it pass. That doesn't mean your name isn't on the dissociated person list and you're not supposed to be in there, and therefore you still could be charged with trespass. Okay. So, having walked myself through that, yeah, Ms. Henry, please stand. Having walked myself through that, the court believes that the people have met their burden, that Mr. Hammy on April 26, 2023 was a person on the Michigan Gaming Control Board disassociated persons list, and that contrary to that, he entered into the MGM casino and where he did not have a lawful place to be. And therefore, I'm gonna find you guilty of 1 count of gambling, disassociated person. Is there any objection to immediate sentencing?
No objection.
No objection.
All right. Anything on behalf of the people?
Your Honor, after much consideration, considering the circumstances of this, we would ask that this court, do a 771 delete sentence.
Really? Yeah. Y'all people might say the bad. What? Y'all ain't no tough lawyers to do that? Okay.
Your Honor, we feel that in this case, given the understanding, we think that that would be the most just thing for the situation.
Let me say something to you. Wayne State is kicking out some fine lawyers. Okay, I had to lift myself up out of my.
I agree.
Cause you didn't expect that, did you, Mr.
I did
Davis?
not. I was about to ask for it, but I didn't.
And I wasn't gonna give it. Let me just be clear. Mr. Hammy, I was not gonna give it. In fact, I had already in my mind as I processed and had my little speech saying, now you could have got a delayed sentence. A group of 5, and if the supervisor wasn't sitting right there next to them, I would say, no, you better go ask the supervisor. Okay, well, that's awesome on behalf of the people.
It is.
So Mr. Davis, anything on behalf of Mr. Hammy?
Judge, I would concur with that recommendation. And, my client doesn't have any criminal history. As I stated, he's a vice president of the bank. This was a misunderstanding on his part. There was no intent to violate the law. So I ask the court to sentence him accordingly.
All right. Would you like to say anything on your own behalf?
Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah, see, let me say, and okay, I know that I am a critical thinker. So I've come in the years that I've been living to understand that, hey, you're a critical thinker, and every person is not a critical thinker in the way that I'm a critical thinker. So because the thing that I just said about being in Vegas and them handing me a paper saying they can take me off of the Michigan disassociated person list, I would have asked them a million questions. I would have been like, what you mean? And are you sure? And then you the person in the gambling. So ask some more questions, Mr. Hammy, number 1. But number 2, I am actually very thankful that the legislature, somebody saw the error of the way of the lifetime placement on the disassociated persons list. Initially, I didn't understand why this was even a crime, but I came to appreciate the fact that, especially, for example, in your position that you hold in your job, that it would be important that you not have a gambling problem. They have to be able to trust you around the money and around other people's money, and your family wants to trust you, and your family, if you're married, and if you're not, if your children, whatever the case may be, you're going over your parents' house, they want to be able to trust that their money isn't gonna go missing because people have gambling problems. I want to be able to trust that when I leave my house, I don't have to get into fights because people trying to take my purse because they got a gambling problem, So I understand the reason for the law. So Mr. Hammy, you have been absolutely given some grace by the people today. And I'm gonna honor the grace that they extended. Ms. Hammy, I do see how you could be confused. Because I don't know who paid him this money, but they was asleep.
As an offer of proof, Your Honor, the MGM Grand Casino has been fined a substantial amount of money.
Oh, because they paid this out? Good. And then they should have been fined for passing out these applications in Vegas, but that's a whole different thing. I don't have nothing to do with that. Okay, good. They got fined for giving him the money. Oh, good. That's good, because that's confusing. And I could see how Mr. Hammy would be confused, like, oh, I filled out their application And then I went there and won, and they gave me the money. That was confusing. Okay, so, good for the gaming commission. All right, so Mr. Hammy, I am going to, sentence, I apologize. If the people have any recommendation with respect to the length of probation for Mr. Hammy?
1 year, Your Honor.
All right, because they gave you grace and mercy. Okay, all right, so the court is going to sentence you, can I hear? Okay. Court is gonna sentence you under the delay after trial, Mr. Andy. They gave you the same thing they offered you without a trial. That's great, okay. I commend the state for that. The court is gonna sentence you pursuant to the delays in the statute for a period of 12 months, with a final review date of I was gonna say December, but we're in January. Is it the 12th or the 10th?
January 10th.
10th, January 10th, 2025. And then, give me 6 months review date. That's that July date?
Yes, sir.
And it was July what?
10th.
July 10th. So your review is gonna be July 10th. Notwithstanding your current status on the dissociated persons list, I am gonna ban you from casinos during the period of this probation. So you cannot go in Michigan. You can go to Las Vegas, you can go to Canada.
So even though this one.
Yeah, I don't care nothing about their card and I don't care nothing about their list. So while you're on probation, you can't go in the casino. I'm gonna impose $210, mandatory costs, a $200 fine. You all took your $6,000? I mean, they took, the people on the back row, them. Right, he didn't get the 6,000, but he got these two, right?
Correct.
Okay, so he already lost $6,000. Okay, so, it's a non-reporting probation. He's gonna just pay $410. Which y'all trying to tell me something else?
Oh, they were just telling us that the money, doesn't go to them, it goes to the compulsive gaming pension fund. Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Do they, it's no compulsive potato chip eating fund?
I hear you like your chips, Your Honor.
And they ought to find Lay's too, somebody should find Lay's, okay. So that's, $410. Mr. Hamey, you had said you didn't really want to say nothing, but you had your hand up, did you want to say something? Cause you want to know why I'm not gonna let you on the casino?
That's.
Oh, okay. Now, you are eligible for early discharge after 6 months, so at July, 10th. Well, let me ask this question. I didn't pay attention. I don't know if the witness testified that he is now off the list. So is he now off the list?
Yes.
Okay, I'll rescind that. I'll let him go in the casino. If he's off the list, I'll let him go in the casino, but, you shall not use or possess any illegal substance. Perhaps I'm gonna limit your time in the casino. They don't clock them. They don't know how long he's been in there. Do they have no way of clocking them? No, okay. You shall not use or possess any illegal substance. You cannot drive without a valid license. You cannot get any new tickets. No new cases, I shouldn't say tickets, no new cases, and you should, Mr. Hammy, I want to hear from you on the issues. No, I don't necessarily ask, and you can decline to answer me. But what made you decide that you didn't have a gambling problem anymore? Why? What made you say, I can be off the list?
I have no gambling problem whatsoever.
How often do you go to the casino?
But you see, like February and April, every 2 months, once.
You sure? Cause you seem like you be going to Vegas and stuff.
I went to Vegas to watch UFC fight. And the fight was at the MGM casino. I have 800 credit score. I have great income.
You ain't gotta tell us about your credit score on the thing.
Yes, so,
He like, no, I don't.
yeah, so I don't,
All right.
I don't have any issues. And to be honest, in 2014, I signed up because my dad. I don't want-
Told you that you was gambling too much?
No,
Oh.
he said for religious purposes, he want me to do it. He
Oh.
passed away last year, so. This
Oh,
is-
you're like, I'm free now. Okay. And if a person is off of the disassociated persons list, they're not tracked as they come and go in the casino anymore either, are they? No, she's shaking her
It's my
head.
understanding that they're not.
Hmm.
So they're just tracked by their player's card, if they use one.
But it benefits them to use a player's card, because that's how they, oh yeah, okay, so that's right, okay. Well, at least the penalty would be that you don't get credit on that player's card. I am gonna limit him to, 6. So he said he doesn't go that much, he said, I only go, whatever, so in the course of the 12 months, he can only go 6 times, so that's like twice every 2 months.
That's all.
So that's a lot for you, good, okay, well, most people who don't have a gambling problem, they'll be able to do that. Now, if he in there gambling without the player's card, I guess I can't track it, but, Mr. Haney, I can't, they won't let me talk about religion, on the bench, but I be finding out stuff. Every time something happens, I find out, and then people be like, how'd you find out? If me getting told to me. All right, so no more than 6 visits to Michigan casino. No more than 3 visits in the 6 months, so 6 months, no more than 3 times. And then for the 12, if we get to the 12 months, that'll be 6 times, but no more than 3 times within first 6 months, okay. I'm not gonna order gamblers, the reason I was asking, because I was contemplating if I was still gonna order Gamblers Anonymous and Gamblers Counseling, unless people are requesting and I wasn't gonna order it.
Just to show you, if you want to book me once every 6 months, I have no problem. I'm not going there.
Okay.
Your Honor, we have no objection to not.
Okay. All right, well then, we're all set. It sounds like Mr. Flanagan was over there typing. So I think I can give you a copy of the probation order before you leave. So, it's a 12-month probation with a review of July the 10th with $410 in fines and costs. No illegal substances, no driving without a license, no more than 3 visits in the first 6 months to the casino. Oh, pay any tickets you have with 36 District Court if you have any, and that's gonna be it for, I think that's it. I'm not ordering your analysis, but, all right. I'll keep that to all. Okay, anything further?
Nothing else, Judge, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Any further? Nothing further.
All right. Have a great day, stay safe, and then, we'll get you a copy of that probation order. Great job, ladies, great job.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's nice to finally see you in
I've
person.
never seen you
I
in
know,
person.
I've never seen you in person. If I come down, I'm not gonna come off the bench because I don't want to put pain on my court because you might say, oh, you're short. That's what
You're even more beautiful in person.
Oh, thank you. People because. Right. Oh, I don't want these though. These are his, originals. Make copies of these if you don't say. Okay. Oh, I got it. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Okay, this thing said, tell your client to call, and we don't know what's going on with that new ticket.
Okay, and then with regard to the Mr. Parker, Commissioner Travel,
I already signed it.
Oh, it's signed. I'll send it to you, Ms. Stevenson.
okay, he's sitting in the hallway, Mr. Flanagan, so he can just, want me to come in, let me sign off here. I'm gonna sign off, Judge, and I'll go to the breakout room first and go.